Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In this video we will be discussing about arrays in Java. So when we are talking about array, so this is a similar concept which we have already done in our previous semesters. So basically this is just a topic of discussion in some other language. Okay, so talking about arrays, let us begin. First, as we already know, arrays are just a collection of similar types of elements which has contiguous memory location. So the first point that we have to remember is it has similar type of elements. That means homogeneous elements. Suppose let us consider that in a particular organization, so there are several employees and each of the employee, they are represented using a particular variable. So let's say integer employee id 1 is equal to 0 1. Okay, so again we have some other employee, integer employee id 2 is equal to 0 2. So again integer employee id 3 is equal to 0 3. So likewise it will go on until it gets to, let's say integer employee id 100 is equal to 100. Okay, so these are the 100 different employees that we have in one particular organization, and it might go up to 1000 also. Alright, so it might have n number of employees within it. So what are they? They are similar type of elements. That means all of these elements, they are belonging to a particular type, which is the employee id. And basically from definition of arrays, we have to understand that if these similar type of elements, they are arranged in a contiguous memory location. Okay, so this is a memory location. So if they are arranged in a contiguous memory location, then we can call it to be an array. Alright, so this is stored in the memory as 0 1 0 2 dot dot dot, and from here let's say 1000. Right, and talking about array, if we are considering the declaration, how the declaration basically takes place, then we have to understand that we can declare and instantiate an array using a similar concept which we have done in objects, which is integer employee id is equal to new integer 1000. Okay, so this is how we can declare and instantiate, declare and initialize an array. Now looking into this particular syntax, let's say I'll write it here again, integer employee id is equal to new integer 1000. So when we are looking into this, essentially this is basically the size of the memory location or the size of the array where we need to place the array elements. New is the keyword which is used to instantiate a new array. Okay, so if we look into this keyword we have come across in our previous sessions also, where we are using it to create a new object. So if we are using new keyword here also, essentially we can consider an array to be an object. Okay, so an array in Java is basically an object which extends the object class. That means the parent class of this particular array is basically the object class. So object is basically the class from which the array will be considering its methods or extending its different properties. Okay, so arrays basically extends the object class. So this is what we have to remember, right? So moving ahead, we have to consider that array in Java is basically an object. Okay, so arrays in Java is an object having similar data types. Similar data types. Typed elements. Okay, so all the elements within this object are basically homogeneous in nature. Additionally, the elements of an array are stored in the contiguous memory location that we have already discussed, and it is basically a data structure where we can store this homogeneous or store these similar elements. And one more important point that we have to remember is they have fixed size or fixed set of elements in that particular Java array, like we already saw here. So this is the size. So this size is fixed. Okay, it will not change no matter what we do. So it has a fixed size based on which we need to work, and that size is declared in the very beginning of the program. The next important point we have to remember is that the arrays are index based. That means we understood that we have to store the values in contiguous memory locations. That means continuous memory locations would be used in order to store the values. Okay, now this particular, how do we access the elements which are stored in these locations? So it is basically accessed through the index positions. So in array, the first index or the first element of the array is stored in 0th index, followed by 1, 2, and then the last element. Okay, so the 0th index is responsible of holding the first element of an array. The first index or index 1 is capable of holding the second element in the array. The second index is capable of holding the third element in the array, and so on. So we can access the various elements which are stored using this index positions. Now suppose I want the the third element of the array, I have to select the second index position. Okay, so index 2 will give me the third element of the array. So we have to use basically what happens in C and C++, we can get the length of the array using the length member, but here since okay, we will come to it later. First let us discuss the simple concepts. Okay, in Java, array is an object of dynamically generated class. We have already discussed. Okay, and Java array inherits the object class, like I already said. So since I am using the new keyword, it will be inheriting the object class, and it implements serializable as well as clonable interfaces. So interfaces is another topic which we will be discussing in subsequent sessions. So as of now, we just have to remember that it is an object. Okay, and we can store primitive values or objects in that particular array, and we can also create single dimensional as well as multi-dimensional arrays, 1D, 2D, 3D array. So we can create all of this. So this we will be doing in details, not today, but in my subsequent sessions. So we can create the single dimensional as well as multi-dimensional arrays, and moreover Java provides the feature of anonymous arrays. Okay, we will also see how anonymous arrays work. So sorry, the spelling is wrong. Okay, so anonymous arrays, which would be useful for implementation. So we will see that. Now, as already discussed, again I would like to talk about this. So we have a continuous memory location in which we can go on placing the similar type of elements. Okay, and if we are considering the index position, so these are the index positions of the array, and the size of the array is basically, if we are considering the size of the array, this is basically 11. Okay, because it is also having 0th index as well as 10. So the size of the array, or the array length is basically 11 here, right? And here the 0th index will be capable of holding the first index. So first index, and here we have already talked about the indexes. So these are the indices that will be holding the values of the elements. So if we are talking about the advantages of it, so basically talking about the advantages of the array, so first advantage is it helps in code optimization. And the second one is it has a random access. That means in any location we can go on accessing using the index position only. Okay, and since it makes the code optimized, we can retrieve or sort the data efficiently, and also arrays are quite faster when it is compared to the traditional variables. Okay, so if we are considering the previous example here that we have already discussed, yes, here now if we are considering this, so whenever I am creating an object, okay, or whenever I am creating a variable, so there is an individual memory which is stored, which is created. Okay, let us say for 1 it is having another memory, for 2 it is having another memory, and for 3 it is having another memory, and so on. Whereas when you are creating an array, a single memory location is used in order to store this particular array. Now there is an important concept here, that if we are considering array as an object, okay, since object occupies memory, what type of memory will array be occupying? So whenever we are talking about array, we essentially have to understand that the memory which is associated with array is basically the heap memory. Okay, heap memory. And we consider array as faster because whenever we are doing this in order to store our values, there is an internal conversion which is taking place, and we are using wrapper classes in order to execute this particular objects, or execute this particular elements. But in array, no such internal conversion or wrapper classes are used. It will simply be executed the way it is there. Okay, now talking about the disadvantages. So if we are considering the advantages, so we also have to talk about the disadvantages. So when we are talking about disadvantages, there is one disadvantage which is the size limit. So talking about the size limit, it has a fixed size. Like we already saw, that we can mention the size of the array when we are initializing and instantiating it. So we can store only the fixed size of elements in the array and it does not grow at runtime. But in order to solve this problem, definitely there is another framework which is known as collection framework, and we can use this collection framework with the baseline arrays in order to grow the array at runtime. But we will see all of those advanced concepts later. So now we just have to focus on these things, that it has a fixed size and it does not grow with time or grow in the runtime. Now, talking about the single dimensional array or the syntax to declare an array in Java. So we have already seen one, that means we have already come across this. So this is one type of declaration. Okay, there are other types of declaration also, so we will write all of them here. So how do we actually declare an array? So basically the syntax is, we'll use data type array. So this is one type. Okay, we can also use data type array. So this is something which we have already seen, and we can also use data type array. Okay, so the first one, I think this is not very much visible with the space, so we can use this. So all of these three different syntax could be used in order to declare an array in Java. Okay, and how do we basically instantiate an array? So if we are talking about instantiation, we have already seen it. So we have already seen it. So when we are talking about array, or let's say I'll not put here as array, I'll put here as the name. So let's say employee ID. Now this is something similar to what we have already done. So this is how we are instantiating basically. Okay, so if we are using this, then we can write it in a single line. Otherwise you can simply use employee ID is equal to new employee ID, and within this you can mention the size. So this is basically the array reference variable. Array reference variable, we will see this with a program, so we do not have to worry about this. Array reference variable, and oh sorry, this is basically the size. Right, so like this, integer, and we have to use the size. Okay, so new integer size, and there is no space in between integer and size, so we can simply rub this off. Integer, okay, new integer size. So this is how we basically create or instantiate a particular array, right? So now we have already declared an array and we have instantiated an array. We'll also look into a particular example of an array using a simple program. Okay, so first let us consider a class for that. So class test, and within this class let me mention the main method, which is public static void main string arguments. So string arguments is also a array. Okay, we have been working with this array since a long time using in each of our main methods. So string arguments is also an array here, and then I'll simply use int a is equal to mu int, let's say 3. Okay, so here let me first write it down, or let me first, so here this is basically the array reference variable. The new keyword is this. Okay, and this is the size of the array. That means it is capable of holding 3 different elements. Okay, so we have already declared and instantiated. Now we need to initialize the variables in the array, or initialize the elements in the array. So talking about that, what is our array reference variable? A. And what is the first index position? It is 0. So here I will be giving 0 1, then 1. The second index position, here I will be storing value 2, then 2, here I will be storing the value 3. So since our array can consist of 3 elements only, I have initialized the elements as 3 here. Okay, now I have already initialized these particular elements. That means in my array the values got stored as 1, 2 and 3 in 0, 1 and 2 positions respectively. Now how do I print the elements of this particular array? So for this I will be using a for loop. Okay, so for loop for, let's say, integer I is equal to 0. So I is basically representing the index positions here. If I is less than a dot length. Now when I'm talking about a is the reference variable. Okay, and length is basically a property of the array which is giving me the total length of, or total size of the array. So in this case the length will be equal to 3. Okay, and I plus plus, that is I'm incrementing the value of the index positions. And here within this, let me print out system dot out dot println, and within this let me print the value of I. Okay, so this is how the values would be printed. The values which are there in the array would be printed. Now if you look into this particular for loop, initially the index position is pointing to I is equal to 0. Okay, and it is comparing if I is less than a dot length. Now what is the value of a dot length? This is 3. So 0 is less than 3, yes. Okay, then what it is doing, it is printing the value of a of I, that means a of 0. And what is a of 0? A of 0 is 1. So 1 is getting printed here, then I is incremented. Now I is moved to the second position. Okay, and I is less than 3, then again the value a of 1 is printed. Okay, which is basically 2, and then I is incremented again. Okay, so I will now be pointing to the third position, and it will compare if it is less than equal to 3. Okay, that means it is less than 3 or not. So the position is 2 now. It is less than 3, yes. So it will be printing the third value, which is basically 3. Okay, so likewise it will be going on, it will go on checking for the values which are less than the values of the index positions which is less than the length of the array. So this is how a simple, very simple program using array can be done. Okay, now talking about declaration, instantiation and initialization of array, we do not need to write all these lines or multiple lines for initializing the array. We can simply use another syntax which basically looks something like this. That means integer a is equal to 01, 02, 03, 04. Okay, so this will also serve the purpose. So how do we write this? So basically, let me consider the same program again. So class test, and here I am writing the main method, which is public static void main string arguments. And here what I will do is I will use integer a. Now a here again is the reference variable, and here I am using 01, 02, 03, 04. Okay, so this is how I will declare, instantiate and initialize the array in a single line. Okay, and then what I will try to do is I will try to print this particular array. So for printing I will use the same approach. For integer I is equal to 0 and I is less than a dot length and I plus plus, and here I will simply print it system.out.println a of I. Okay, so this will also work for the same purpose. That means instead of going for declaring a new array and initializing and instantiating it in multiple lines, I can consider just a single line in order to do the entire program. Java is facilitating us with this particular property as well. Now it depends upon us how we use it, but this is basically the conventional approach how you can do it. Okay, and this is slightly more advanced where you can do all the three things in the same line. In this particular program, see here you are declaring and instantiating an array in this step, and we are initializing the elements or the values in subsequent steps. But if we are considering this line, we are declaring and initializing, declaring, instantiating and initializing the array, everything in just one single step. Okay, so this is how a particular array program looks like. We will also talk about multidimensional arrays as well as some more concepts related to arrays, like passing array into a method in Java, as well as passing the anonymous arrays, of course, and returning arrays from methods. Okay, so all of this will be taken care of in our subsequent session. So that is all for this for now. Thank you.